Is this what the Phillies need to dominate the NL East? Or are we about to hand a division rival the exact piece they need to beat us? Welcome back to the Fightin Phils report, everybody. I'm your host, and I've been thinking about this all day. Literally, I haven't been able to get this out of my head since the news broke. Right now, sitting on Dave Dombrowski's desk, there is a ticking clock. Dylan Moore, the veteran utility man we brought in on a minor league flyer back in January, has officially triggered his opt-out clause. The Philadelphia Phillies have exactly 48 hours to either clear a spot for him on the 40-man roster or let him walk right into free agency this Saturday. And guess who is sitting across the division, staring at their stopwatch, just waiting to pounce? The New York Mets. That's right, the Mets are lurking. The Astros and Orioles are sniffing around too. But the thought of the Mets scooping up our depth piece, that changes the temperature in the room. We have a real urgency here, folks. This isn't just a spring training storyline. This is a roster decision that could come back to haunt us in September. Let's break down exactly what is happening, why it matters, and what the Phillies need to do right now. Let's go beyond the basic headlines and really look at what we have here. If you've been watching the Grapefruit League games, you might be thinking, who cares, let him walk. And look, I get it. Moore's spring performance has been about as cold as a late March morning in Philly. He's limping to a 60 WRC plus over 37 plate appearances. He hasn't looked sharp at the plate. But Philly fans know exactly what I'm talking about when I say you cannot evaluate a veteran solely on 37 at-bats in Florida. We need to look under the hood. What does Dylan Moore actually bring to a baseball team? He is a defensive chameleon. Aside from strapping on the catcher's gear or taking the mound to save the bullpen, this guy can play literally everywhere. Left field, right field, shortstop, second base, third base. He is the ultimate insurance policy. But let's talk about the bat, because that's where the real value lies for a championship contending team. We have superstars, we have Bryce Harper, Trea Turner, Kyle Schwarber, but to win in Red October, you need guys on the bench who can execute specific roles. Moore has two elite traits. He punishes left-handed pitching, and he is a menace on the base paths. Look at his career numbers against southpaws. He boasts a career 110 WRC plus against lefties. That makes him a tactical weapon. Imagine it's the 8th inning of a tight game at Citizens Bank Park. The opposing manager brings in a tough lefty reliever to face Bryson Stott or Brandon Marsh. Having a right-handed bat like Moore to pinch hit, who can then stay in the game and play elite defense at multiple positions, is incredibly valuable. Last season, between Seattle and Texas, he hit 11 home runs and stole 14 bases in just 243 plate appearances. When he went to the Rangers, he posted a 113 WRC plus. The speed, the pop against lefties, the versatility, that is a profile that fits perfectly into our lineup's gaps. You don't need him to be a superstar. You need him to be the guy who gets a clutch pinch hit double in the 7th inning of a playoff game. This reminds me of the 2022 run, where guys off the bench, the unsung heroes, made all the difference in the world. Now, let's talk about the long-term strategic impact. How does this affect Dave Dombrowski's master plan? Dombrowski and Rob Thompson have a very specific vision for this roster. They want flexibility, and they want to protect the starting rotation and the bullpen by having a bench that can handle multiple scenarios. The problem is the 40-man roster crunch. To keep Dylan Moore, Dombrowski has to designate someone else for assignment. He has to cut a cord. Is Moore worth losing a younger prospect or a depth arm in the bullpen? That's the million-dollar question. But here is the strategic nightmare. If you let him go, you aren't just losing him to the void. You are potentially handing him to the New York Mets. Carlos Mendoza over in Queens would love to have a Swiss Army knife like Moore. The Mets bench is looking for exactly this kind of right-handed pop and versatility. If we let him walk, we are going to see him 13 times this season. We are going to see him pinch hitting against our lefty relievers like Matt Strahm or Jose Alvarado in high-leverage situations. Do we really want to arm a division rival just because we didn't want to make a tough decision at the bottom of our 40-man roster? Furthermore, keeping Moore gives the Phitins a safety net. Injuries happen. It's a 162-game grind. If someone in the infield tweaks a hamstring, or if an outfielder needs a few days off, Moore steps right in without the team missing a beat defensively. He keeps the machine running smoothly so that our big guns can stay fresh for when it really matters. If the goal is to get back to the World Series and finish the job, you need a bench that can survive the dog days of August. Moore helps you do that. Now let's talk about what you guys are saying, because the pulse of the city is what drives this team. I've been listening to sports radio all morning, scrolling through X and Reddit, and the fan base is definitely split. On one hand, you have the fans who are looking purely at the spring training stats. I saw a tweet from a Philly Fanatic 99 saying, "Let him walk, 60 WRC plus in spring. We don't need another dead bat on the bench." And I hear that frustration. When you watch a guy strike out in Clearwater, it's hard to pound the table for him to make the opening day roster. But then you have the diehards who look at the bigger picture. The fans who remember how thin our bench felt at times last year. I had a caller on the post-game show yesterday say, "Listen, I don't care what he hits in March. I care that he can play 6 positions and steal a base in the 9th inning against the Braves." That is the Philly baseball IQ showing up. The vibe around the city right now is championship or bust. The Fanatic is ready, the stadium is going to be rocking, and the fans know that championships are won on the margins. The general consensus I'm feeling from the smart fans is, don't let the Mets get better for free. If the Mets want him, that means he has value, and if he has value, maybe we should be the ones keeping him. So here is my final call. Dave Dombrowski needs to find a way to keep Dylan Moore. Yes, the spring numbers are ugly. Yes, the 40-man roster math is difficult, but you do not let a veteran with a career 110 WRC plus against lefties and elite defensive versatility walk out the door and drive straight to Queens. You make the tough cut, you put him on the bench, and you use him as the tactical weapon he is designed to be. But that's just my take, and you know I want to hear from you. What should the Phillies do? Do we add him to the 40-man, or do we let him walk to the Mets? Drop down into the comments right now and let me know. If you think we need to keep him, comment, ring the bell down below. If you love this team as much as I do and want the best, most passionate Phillies coverage on the internet, make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. We are building something special here, and I want you along for the ride. Until next time, keep the faith and let's go Phils.